There's an anonymous $50 donation with no comment. Thank you very much, Anonymous. $100 from another anonymous donor says, "Long-time watcher, first time donating. This one's for you, Dimitri." $150 from Doodlo. "I love the Zelda Oracle games and beat them both linked. As much love as I have for Moosh and Ricky, Dimitri is a very hungry Dodongo and needs some chow. Let's help feed the Dimitri." And with that, a quick update on the Oracle of Seasons bid war. Dimitri the Dodongo is now up at $2,600, Moosh the Bear at $23, and Ricky the Kangaroo at $2,000. So if you have a strong opinion about animal companions, as you very well should, keep those donations coming in. Meanwhile, it's time for a story about my uncle with TheRealVincentio.
All right, so we'll start on 3 here. 1, 2, 3. Go. All right, so this is a story about my uncle, not my uncle, the narrator's uncle, also who will be playing. Starting out here, it's just sort of a tutorial level, so I'm gonna kind of take the time to go around like some of the movement options we're gonna be using, because as soon as we get into the next level, we're going. So we've got like walking around WASD. If I hold down shift while doing those, I'll be running. I can jump with variable heights with the space bar. I've also got these powered up like long jumps or high jumps that I can do by holding down the right mouse button. And pretty much any time during the run you see the center of that like glove glowing, I'm holding down the right mouse button trying to charge up a jump. This beginning section isn't something that we normally do in the runs because it's on a set timer, so no matter what, when you start the next level, you'll be at 1:42 when you land, but we're just using it as some time here to show off some things like flipping your head into drawers and really quickly here doing a backflip.
This is the most important movement option in the game.
Yeah. Backflips.
Backflips. So this game, once it gets into Sanctuary, gets very fast-paced. Sanctuary is the next level. That's where the movement actually kind of starts.
Yeah, gameplay in Workshop's just sort of walking simulator.
Yeah.
But all right, so right out of the gate here, we're going to just start long jumping. We're trying to cut off as much distance as possible by going over these things. Right here, going to land on top of that stick. Oof.
That jump is super precise. So.
Yeah.
And then this level is cycle-based. So.
Yeah.
Oh, we
so missed that first cycle. We're just going to have to wait around for a second. Pretty much 90% of my resets in these runs are on those first like 4 or 5 jumps. They're just really hard to do.
Yeah, they are really not easy.
All right. So waiting around for a little bit more cycles here since I missed the first one. And coming up right below me is this first of these power crystals. Those are going to be what powers our grapple device, gives us the more efficient form of movement in this game.
Yeah, once you get grapples, you can really go anywhere in this game. Between edge boosts and a different trick called flinging, which we don't use in this category, you can go out of bounds and everywhere. Oh boy.
Oof, didn't get enough distance off of that. Anytime I sort of mess up here, I'm going to be very quickly just like quick resetting, and that just puts me back at my previous checkpoint. That way I can, get going again. A lot of the times, if I think that I won't be able to make something, I'm just going to kind of quick reset while I'm in the air, and it might look a little confusing. Right here is our out-of-bounds skip. Instead of going on like the intended path to the right, we're going to jump on these rocks. that's a little far. Okay. And then up
That
here.
last jump's always scary.
All right. So most of just the routing in this game is going not the intended route for the developers have, because they sort of didn't estimate how far the grapple device actually goes. And Sanctuary is by far the hardest level in this game, simply because you only have one or two grapples, and it's a lot harder to recover when you make small mistakes. So just picked up the second grapple there, so now we can go twice as far. Your grapples reset every time you hit the ground, even if it's just for a split second. So a lot of the times I'm just going to be landing, doing a long jump, and then immediately trying to grapple and edge boost. Edge boosting, which we've said a couple of times here, is when you're really close to a piece of geometry and you sort of clip into it a little bit and fly out at really high speeds. It's what kind of keeps the category competitive and not really just walking around. And it also allows us to skip huge amounts of the levels later.
Also, because Vince mentioned that that the crystals power the glove, there are 3 grapples that you get. You get the third one in the next level.
All right, so we're coming up at the end of the level here. As we load into the next one, we're going to go into a kind of annoying cutscene that we can't skip. We'd really like to, but we can't.
These blue lights.
Also, I hope no one's afraid of heights.
Or was somebody else here as well?
All right, so Proto, if you've got anything to say, we've got about 1:30 of just walking and talking.
Oh, that's perfect, because I have a donation here that I think you might be interested in. Here's $250 from Oliver Philip Zipper and Santiago. Huge shout-outs to TheRealVincentio for making our dreams come true by running our game at GDQ. Good luck from us and the rest of the team at Coffee Stain North, and thank you, GDQ, for putting up this amazing event.
That's awesome. I cannot wait to show them how much we've broken their game.
It is very broken.
It's
It's fantastic. Thank you for making this fantastic mess. It's
I told
amazing.
her that he was
If
my uncle.
you get the chance,
that
play
I
this
was
game,
looking
play it
for him.
casually. It's an amazing experience.
What's an uncle?
Honestly, I think it's one of the best examples
I
of
said
like
that he was,
visual storytelling
I had known
and
him
that I've seen
all
in a
my
game.
life.
There's just so many times you just get to walk around and
Really?
experience the
Me
world,
too.
and
I'll
we're gonna
help you
do none
find
of
him.
that.
I'm
Steam
Madeline.
Summer Sale, I think it's
The others call
$250
me
right now.
Mad
Yeah.
Maddie
So it is
sometimes.
for that price.
I don't know why.
If you don't have it, what are you
but you
doing?
can call me Maddie. You've never been to the village, right? Let's meet over there in the square. I'll show you around.
All right, bye,
I
Maddie.
bet you can get
We're
there
not gonna
easily
see
with
you
your suit
again
thing.
for a while.
So
I think
I'll
it's
see you
2
there.
levels until we see her again.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
All right,
An
so
underground
first thing in Village here is going to be
inhabited
this
by
nice big
thought
edge boost
or more
that's
like
just going to skip across this
sound.
entire section.
Either way, they walk like humans. They talk like humans.
All right.
How is that possible?
Then this village, a lot of story going on here. Not really interested.
There was another 4 or 5 minute cutscene that Vince just skipped.
Yeah, a lot of the cutscene triggers you can sort of just go around.
Yeah. There's another one coming up to get the third grapple, and you just kind of go around or over it. I think it's another 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, that one's pretty long. And if you do fall into it, like get into the cutscene, you've got to back out to the menu and continue and try getting your skip there again.
If you miss any of the cutscene skips, then you can always just go out of the menu and then come back into the game, and you're at the same place, so it's really lenient.
All right, so we're skipping behind here to get the third crystal. Just kidding, we don't need it.
I can hear Kim screaming from Germany about 3 grapples still being faster. We
so-
found pretty recently that skipping the third grapple and just taking 2 is actually faster, but it's quite a bit harder because you're not supposed to have 2.
Yeah, a lot of these sections are built around you having 3 grapples. So you see there's 3 arches here. Obviously, you should need 3 grapples to get across it. But that's not really the case.
And then in the next level, the game just gives you the third grapple because it sees that you're supposed to have it by then.
Yeah, I didn't really expect you to be skipping it at all. Oh, I missed the rock. All right.
For this, you have to land on the rock so that you can reset the...
So, like, if I had 3 grapples, I'd be through, but I'm too proud to have gone and gotten them. There we go. Thank you. All right. And so with that, we're going to head into the chasms. I apologize. It's going to be very dark, and you're not going to be able to tell what's going on a lot of the time.
The ominous shadows of the chasm.
There's a gamma slider, but the next level after chasms looks amazing. But if
As I entered
the gamma's up, it
chasms,
looks terrible.
it struck
So
me how much darker
we
it was.
trade
shadows were
dark chasms
black
for
as
having a
ink.
beautiful Sky Haven.
And although
Yeah.
I tried not to be afraid, I couldn't help but shiver. Was it the
Chasms
darkness
has a
that frightened
pretty
the
precise
villagers
skip.
as well?
It goes around a, I think, 4.5-minute cutscene and a lot of the level. It's hard enough with the skip being precise, and then it's equally hard when you can't see the wall that you're grappling onto. So it mainly just comes down to muscle memory.
Yep.
And there it is. Congrats. This is a lot harder than it looks. There's like 3 precise-ish edge boosts that you have to get. There's a newer setup that makes it easier, but it was...
Ooh.
Oh.
Ah, we're good. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That one's a little bit more lenient, but it's still pretty hard.
Okay. Oh, I really hope I can do this next one. I can't see these walls at all. If not, I've got some backups. Okay, we're just gonna take a weird route around here. Oh, whoops. All right, so something a little risky in this level. I mess up once, I have to redo the entire thing. So I guess if you have anything to say, Proto, now would be the time.
Got a couple things. Here's $5 from Pixel, or maybe Pix3L. I'm gonna assume Pixel. May the gods of Edge Boost be with you. Greetings from Germany.
Thank you, Pixel.
And $50 from Catherine124. Me and my daughter really love watching this. She says she would like you to run Super Mario Odyssey.
Thank you for the donation.
$100 from Fastcar. Greetings from Germany. It's always a pleasure to watch GDQ. Keep it up and save the frames.
Okay, so I'm gonna take this a little bit safer here and just sort of throw myself into the air so I can position down onto this. There we go.
Okay. Nice.
All right. So, whoa.
Whoa. I think you hit the checkpoint.
Oh, okay, I did end up hitting this one. All right.
What was that? I had never heard a creature sounding as terrifying, and I imagined it wouldn't be happy about visitors.
This little piece of dialogue was supposed to play like 2 minutes ago. I'm kind of wondering why it didn't. I think it has to do with the checkpoint.
Really dark
Yeah.
out there.
Okay.
So
You're
I'm
not
taking some
scared,
older
are you?
backup strats here since I'm not really able to see.
Yeah.
But the payoff will be worth it. Starhaven looks so good.
Starhaven's gonna look amazing.
All right. So by going sort of across the ceiling here, we're skipping a huge challenge in the level. This is sort of the only quote-unquote enemy that you have in the game is this big old worm. And somewhere back there is where you're supposed to trigger this cutscene, but by going over the ceiling, you don't have to. Well, we can sort of get around it and this dialogue that's playing right now is normally what's supposed to be playing while that's going on, and you aren't supposed to be able to move right there.
Yeah.
So right here at the end of the level.
Remember what it says.
And once I gain control, I'm going to try really quickly to show off what a fling is. At this point, it's just waiting for the level to end.
I knew you had it in you.
So what I'm doing now won't really invalidate the
We
run
had
as
made
a
it through,
fling.
and I felt like nothing.
You get one of
could stand
these,
in
and you
our
sort of
way.
just fly very high. In Starhaven, they're way more effective, and you can sort of just skip huge chunks of the level.
Oh, another one.
The blimp
This
worked.
one says,
Okay, so this blimp is amazing, and I'm so glad the developers are watching, because if you play this game again, you don't get the blimp. Look at this reveal. It's so great. You never see it again.
And then when the music kicks in there, it's like I've never had a more like breathtaking moment when I played a game casually. This game is so visually
Just look
stunning.
at the sky. It is so big.
Alright, so here in Starhaven, things are a lot more spaced out, so our goal is just to get a lot of distance off of edge boosts to try and skip as much as we can.
In this level, you get the rocket boots, which allow you to go over really long distances without using a grapple, and we abuse that. Oh, do you want to go over
As much
frame
as
rates in this
possible.
game?
Oh yeah, we'll go over frame rates. So currently we're running the game at 31 frames per second, which
Along my
seems
journey, I've
odd,
seen many
but
pieces of
the
floating
rocket boots that we're going to get just work better at 31
Some are big
frames.
enough to fit
They work about 1.5 times as better. And they also work better whenever your frame rates are two odd numbers. So if you lock yourself to 55, they go a little bit farther than normal, but at 52, they work as regular. 41, they work as regular. So 31's the best compromise we can get for a lower frame rate, which helps with edge boosting, but also getting longer boots.
Yeah, this game is optimal at 11 FPS, and it's just as bad as it sounds.
Yeah, not
We've
even
both
I
done
want.
runs of it, and it's just terrible.
Somewhere land? No? Oh, okay. So I tried to do something a little fancy there by landing on that fan blade to reset my grapples and sort of skip a bit of the island, but unfortunately I fell off. Luckily I got a safety checkpoint back there, so I'll be able to get all the way over here and try that again. And we're also coming up on Manny's challenge, which is the donation incentive that we got. Doing this technically changes the run category from any % no fling to Manny's challenge % no fling, because we like categories. It's how we do.
But we already did a fling, so it's still invalid.
3 grapples makes it a lot easier to save yourself here, but not what I really want to be doing.
Oh, I don't think we said it because we skipped the third grapple in Village. The game just assumes that you're supposed to have it, so it gives it to you in chasms. I might have said that actually.
Yeah. All right, so
Hey,
this is Manny's
let's play a
challenge.
Here we
I
go.
bet
This is
that
actually
you
harder
can't
than
get
it
through
looks.
this
I still
part without
haven't
using the
gotten
grapple
this.
device.
So it was 5,000 well spent, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know why Maddie is asking us to risk our lives and not use the devices available to us to like save ourselves in case we fall, but that's what she wants. We're gonna give it to her. All right, and I think Maddie actually has something to say here about the donation incentive itself.
You made it! Good job!
All right. So just moving along, we're just about to get the rocket boots here.
Oh, what's that? The boots. Look! Couldn't you wear those?
With this addition, the suit felt at least 20% cooler.
Sweet! Now you gotta try the map. Whee! This is awesome!
It was awesome. I don't know how to
And
describe
then yeah,
the
here you can
feeling of
see
bursting
the
through
rocket
air,
boots. Like,
like a
there's no way
bullet,
you'd be able to get
so
that without
fast that
doing
my eyes watered,
an 11
and my
FPS
belly
edge
was
boost,
full of butterfingers,
or
never
just
fully
a
in
really
control, but still
amazing edge boost. Like,
feeling
I've
the coolest kid in
beaten
the
Starhaven
universe.
without the
I guess I
the
just
boots, and
described
it
didn't
probably
I?
took me about 50 times for each jump that you're supposed to have it. So it's, especially at 31 FPS, it helps with really long distances a lot, which is
I'd
why
love to do stuff
Starhaven's like this, that they
crystals.
can really show off how
Think of
far the boots can go.
possibilities. Whole machines are powered by them. I almost can't
And something I
believe
don't think I've mentioned here is that the grapple device actually will grapple the things. You can see how it sort of lights up when it's on something that I can grapple on, but it'll actually grapple before that
A
indicator
great
lights up
icy
in certain
mountain
places.
loomed before me.
Why, I
Chill
don't know,
run
but
down my
it
spine.
does. Right here, I'm going to land on that fan blade to reset my grapples, so there's this little section here, and normally you're just supposed to grapple to all 3 fans and then use your boots to land on the platform that's out here. But I'm going to edge boost through this crystal in the center. Well, I didn't get a very good one, but then I can use the boots, and since I still have 1 remaining grapple, I can get further along here.
We hadn't seen any people around yet, but ahead of us lay what
There is
looked like
a 7-minute cutscene coming up that we're gonna
the
skip,
strays
which
from
thank God,
Maddie's
because
stories.
yeah,
I could imagine how she must have longed
this skip
all
is
her life.
pretty hard, and there's
Now,
a
here they
easier
were.
version that it looks like we won't see it. Okay, you're very good at this trick.
Okay, so this was made a lot easier, skipping that cutscene with the 31 FPS boots. Before, you would have to land right between the 2 docks there to trigger the checkpoint, and then as you were respawning, look up and use the boots so that you fly over the village, skipping the whole thing.
And then since that's an old strat, a lot of like new runners haven't really like caught on yet. So there was a few runners that didn't want to go to 31 FPS
It
because
seemed like she was
they like the game at
hard
60
on something.
FPS, as most people do, and they just sat through the cutscene, and it was pretty amazing. There was one runner who every cutscene where I've like said the time and said how much we were skipping didn't know that you could skip them, and just sat through and still beat my PB, and I was pretty sad about it. So they were about 13 minutes slower than me in terms of cutscenes, and then beat my PB by about a minute, and then has still only PB'd by like 2 minutes since then, which I think is pretty funny. Camera kind of freaks out there when Manny gets off your back, which on the last level you get Maddie on your back in a cutscene, but we also skipped that cutscene, so she's just kind of been there somehow.
So we're just going to sort of sit
wait
through
a
a cutscene now, so Proto, if you got anything to say, go ahead.
I don't know if I should go.
I've got plenty.
I want to,
$20 from Kim in the
I also
Attic.
want to-
Hey.
Thank you for being the best mod we could imagine. The community is watching, and we love you.
Accept
Aw,
me
thank
for
you,
who I
Kim.
am. Kinda like
And the
you.
love continues coming from Burning Pain with a $5 donation. Long-time watcher, first-time donator. I had to donate during my
that I would
favorite
accept
game to
whatever
play
choice
and
she made.
speedrun. Best of luck to Vince in the
Never thought
best
about it
category
until
there
now,
is,
but
Maddie percent
maybe
for
it wasn't
life.
that I was looking for when I came with you.
Maddie's challenge
Maybe
percent
I was
one
just
fling
looking
is
for a way out.
going to be the best category after
Somewhere
this run.
to be free.
I guarantee it.
And I know that if anyone can find Fred,
Actually, you did 2
it's you.
flings, so Maddie's
If
challenge
you
percent
meet
2
him,
flings.
When
Yeah.
you meet him, tell him to come see me.
$5 from Dan the Pigeon. I enjoyed a story about my uncle a lot.
I'm
It's
glad
great
I met
seeing
you.
it beaten so quickly.
And it won't be the same without you around. Goodbye, friend.
It's a very emotional cutscene that we sort of didn't pay
I sent
attention
you
to.
back to Maddie, and I had a feeling that this was the last time I'd see her.
Yeah, this was
But even
I
in
had a
sad
friend play this
moment,
and they
was
cried at this
happy for her.
cutscene, and I was like, I've seen this
She
like
had found a place where she
30 times,
belonged.
so I didn't understand.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
We're supposed to be on this boat. I don't want to be on this boat.
The huts,
We're just not going to the next level. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's
don't worry
okay.
about it.
feel the chill
Really, I just want to look at Maddie's arm
and the
freak out
path
here,
we were traveling on
and
seemed
I changed my mind. I want back on the
second
boat.
nature. Winter was coming.
Nice.
All right. So start of ice caves here.
Into
Anyone who's
caves
played this
again.
game before knows that there's a
Now,
very big room off to the right with a bunch of falling blocks that's supposed to knock the ice off of those 2 rocks that we kind of just passed.
I was
Yeah,
getting
that's just
close.
a waste of time for us. We just kind of go by it.
Right. The grappling device's
This is
energy
probably the
fields
level where we skip most of the intended gameplay. Right here, we're going to sort of land out of bounds to reset those rocket
ice was
boots,
not so thick.
and then climb this tower as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, this is not supposed to be possible here, in case you couldn't tell. It's a little bit out of the path. There's probably, if you were playing casually, about 20 to 25 minutes of this level that was just skipped. So this one is really with the most out of the way that we can just kind of go around.
Alright. So I'll try and show it off in a second here, but there's a very big, long, winding path off to the right, and
We
just gonna
skipped all
ignore
of
it.
Yeah.
There's some convenient little ledges off here that don't have kill boxes for whatever reason that allow us to skip some pretty big amounts of gameplay. And so after you go through this whole long sequence, you're supposed to land right there and break your rocket boots. It's unfortunate. You only have your grapples, but we're going to skip that because having the rocket boots is useful.
We still do have to fix them, though, later in the game. So.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't get to not fix them. For anyone that's played this casually, this is a pain. It's like Maddie's challenge where you can't use the grapples, but worse.
This
But
part
we
is
have boots,
terrible casual.
so it's not a problem. This whole room,
It's very bad.
And then coming up here, I'm going to actually use the boots to try and just shoot through a
I found
cutscene here.
another one of
You can
Fred's
see how I don't
campsite.
have the indicator,
Those
so it means I can
newer
only
than the
walk.
others. The fire
And then now we
is
just
still
fixed the boots.
smoldering.
So we have those back again.
Yeah, I'm so
Smell
happy.
of
I missed them so much.
aftershave he always used.
If only we had them in the last section. Dang it.
Yeah, would have been a lot
I could
faster.
feel
Yeah.
it. He had left some tools behind that I could use to repair my boots. That should do it.
All right.
Good as
So
new.
again, instead of going off to that path to the right, we're going to use the boots to get over here and land on one very small triangle. And depending on how I jump off this, oh, we got it good. So we got the Olaf Skip as opposed to the Olaf Skip. Olaf Skip is how we used to get past this, but then we figured out we can skip that. So that's what we did.
Yeah, over on the little ledge that you grappled to, there is a snowman that looks a little bit like Olaf. So that's why it's called Olaf Skip.
There's this great big tunnel off to the left that I don't really want to go through, so we're going around.
Also, that's another instance where she just like casually skipped like 10 minutes of gameplay. It's not that hard in this game.
Oh, something I don't think I even went over. These bunches of crystals growing out of the rocks and stuff, you can grapple them while you're in the air to reset your grapple amounts.
Those show up in this level, and they're usually very necessary if you're playing casually, but I think we used them twice. Oh wait, the
Well,
Spider-Man section, so
yeah.
we used them quite a bit.
This section is tragically where I lost a lot of time in my latest PB. Instead of PBing by about 25 seconds, I only PB by 3 because I was unable to count to 3 and grappled 3 times and was out of grapples.
And you can count to 3 this time. Nice.
Yeah.
This is right about where I'd argue where the end of the game is, but there's another level after this.
Yeah, it's very important. We have a skip.
There's a very, very
dark,
hard skip
all
where you walk
around.
over a bag of trash.
But there was a light. at the end of the tunnel.
All right, so right here is just going to be another cutscene, some talking, some walking. So
Uncle
if you've got
Fred,
anything to say, Proto,
I
go ahead.
finally found him.
There's $25 here from Megster A7X. Good luck, Vince! That was in all capital letters with 2 exclamation marks.
Nice.
I'm really happy to see you
Found
run
the
this
suit
game
in
at
his workshop,
GDQ.
and that I came looking for him.
And $5 from your uncle. What a great story.
That's him.
The frog people.
He's there right now.
That was
that's
an
my uncle.
experiment of mine. Do you remember the eggs I found before?
Oh, the uncle's not solid,
I sent
which is
them
fun.
here by accident, and I had to follow. By the time I got here, they were already growing. These caves were empty before, but my
Where's
experiment
the
has made them
place
full
I
of
wanna
life.
stand?
I've conducted research on them and documented
Somewhere like
everything about them.
here.
And I built a new crystal-powered pad to be able to get back to my colleagues.
So yeah, there's a lot of
Fantastic this all
cutscenes.
is.
I
Pretty
interrupted
soon we're
Fred and told
gonna
him
try
about
and look at
Manny.
reforming
How
how
we
we
came
time
all
this
the way to
category.
start
Currently,
here
we
together.
make you play through the
And I
entire
had
game
promised to ask him
workshop to
if he
epilogue.
would go see her there.
But we don't really think this is that necessary, and going forth, we're probably going to stop timing like when you start this
I should have
cutscene or when
taken
we
her
get to the
see
credits at the
Starry
end.
long ago.
Yeah,
She
this
was
timing
always
goes
so
after the
curious
credits
about
in
the
this game
strings.
because there's gameplay.
And I loved her.
It's not really that
I wanted to
important, but there is time lost there,
rather
so we have to go
protect
through it.
myself from losing her.
We do skip workshop, which is the first one,
changed my
because it's on a cycle.
I'm not going home.
So no matter what, you're always
What
gonna
does
land in Sanctuary at the
research
same
or
time.
praise matter when I can be here with these creatures? They need me. And it's just as well. I don't trust this pad for more than one ride anyway. You need that ride.
I didn't want to go home,
It's got some spooky
and I
eyeballs.
asked if I could stay with him and Maddie instead.
I'm sorry, nephew.
This cutscene is
As
also
much
supposed
as
to be
I
really
enjoy having
emotional.
you
I don't know
here,
if anyone was paying attention.
So truth be told, it took me about 3 years of running this game before I actually played through the story casually.
It was a meme for a long time.
Yeah, so all of these just, I heard them again and again and again, and so when I finally played through the game, I was like, oh, these make sense. Oh, they're so good.
Pad is
There's
yours.
actual story behind the story.
Yeah, who knew?
No. When you skip like 30 minutes of cutscene that the developers put into this game, and then you finally like look at it, there tends to be a lot more story and emotion there.
All right, so at this point, I'm holding down escape so we can get through the credits really quickly and move on to the epilogue.
The end.
It's not the
Now,
end.
good night, sweetie.
Wait, Dad. Does that mean Fred is still there?
Who knows? That was the last time I saw him.
Don't you miss him?
I do, sometimes. But I don't worry about him, because I know that wherever he is, he's on his biggest adventure yet. Dear Fred, today I step into the lobby of your house for the last time.
This is also emotional.
My daughter
Yeah.
asked me to tell her about
I'm
an
crying,
adventure,
can you tell?
and I came to think of you. Your house looks just like my mother and I left it years ago. After you'd gone, I was sure she was going to throw out all your stuff, but she just cleaned up. We made you a small memorial.
Oh, here comes the most
For a
precise
while,
skip in the game.
I came here every day. Just
You
like
turn
I
left
used
and then
to.
you walk forward. There's the
Sometimes
trash on the
I
ground.
can even faintly hear your voice calling
It's
from the
amazing.
observatory.
I've lost time to that,
asking
so
me to get you
I
this
lost the
tool.
PB to that once. It was.
I never told my mother about that day.
we pretend it's trivial,
I
but
don't think she
yeah.
would
nothing
believe me.
worse than losing out to that.
Can I
Also,
believe
when you're like going up the first set of
After
stairs,
all
you can
these
like
years.
And we're
hit
about
your hip on the
time.
banister.
Time.
Time. That was a fantastic run. That is
Thank you. What was the time on that?
32:34.
All right. Well, that's the story about my uncle. I hope I've sold you on running it. Shout outs to the developers, everyone in the
I
Discord.
found a greater adventure.
Yeah, it's a great game. You should play it.
Yeah, it's a very small community. There's up until a few months ago, there was maybe 20 runners, and then we kind of got a boost in popularity. So hopefully, more people find this game now too.
What an awesome run. So real quick, have an interview in a second. First, I want to thank Cobalt Flares for their $50 donation with no comment, and Plague the Doctor for their $150 donation with no comment. Now, with that being said, I am going to throw over to an interview. Proto Magical Girl is in the back of the room with Mighty Myth, who's going to be running The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons coming up. Hey there.
Hey,
Nice to see you.
nice to see you as well.
You know, just doing interviews, totally not up to anything else at all right now. Hi, Summer Games Done Quick. My name's Proto Magical Girl, and I'm here with Mighty Myth, who's going to be running The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons coming up. How are you feeling?
Nervous, incredibly nervous.
Oh, I bet you got this.
Okay.
So the first thing I want to get into here, I took a little peek at your speedrun.com profile before this interview. For those of you who aren't aware, speedrun.com is more or less the leaderboard site that we speedrunners use. If you want to find out what a runner gets up to, their speedrun.com profile is a great way to start. I'm out of breath from running over here. So I noticed you've been running Oracle of Seasons for a very, very long time, and I want to start there. What keeps you coming back to this game?
I played it a lot when I was younger, and I rediscovered it recently, and I was like, oh, hey, I like this. And then it's pretty much just there. I like playing the game. I like playing it over and over and over again, trying to get even better times.
Cool, very interesting. I love to see stories of people who just really love their game and just keep coming back to it over and over again. As someone who kind of flies around between games, it's really cool to see people with that much dedication. So the other thing I noticed, you've also run The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX. Is there something specific about the Game Boy Color Zeldas that draws you to them? Is it nostalgia or just similar mechanics that you wanted to approach from your experience with Oracle?
Well, mostly I was like, 2D Zeldas kind of feel left out in the whole Zelda thing, and I was like, yeah, I like these 2D Zeldas. They're fun, they're interesting, they're different, and I don't see a lot of them run, so I'm like, I'll do that.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I love the 2D Zeldas. I gushed in the pre-show about how much I love the Game Boy Color Zelda games, so I'm really excited to see one of them today. Another question, you don't run Oracle of Ages, so I had initially kind of assumed that they were going to be, you know, more or less the same, maybe with different dungeons and stuff, but I figured generally someone was going to run one, they probably ran the other. I was surprised to find you didn't, so can you tell me a little bit about the differences between those two games and why you only run one of them?
Okay, so I've told myself since I started running Oracle of Seasons, I'll get to Oracle of Ages eventually. It's still going to be eventually. The difference between them is pretty much they're two different games, and when it comes to running them, Oracle of Ages is a lot more glitchy. Like, there is some things that you can do called text warps, which is basically like a wrong warp, and then there's this warp at the end of the game called Varan Warp, where you warp to the end boss that skips 2 dungeons, half of one, and 80% of another. And then there's also an extra dungeon skip called D2 skip, which is just terrible, absolutely terrible.
Wow, that's really interesting. I had no idea the two games were so different because Oracle of Seasons is, what, like 2 hours?
Yeah, and it's got 2 glitches that we use.
Well, hey, that's a very nice rate of approximately 1 glitch per hour.
Oh, exactly. Well, you know what? I never thought of it that way.
So, can you tell me a little bit more about the Oracle of Season glitches?
There's a thing where you can sort of bump into a wall and clip into it. It's wall clipping, similar to LADX, except without any of the uses that it has in LADX. And there is a Japanese exclusive glitch where you can kill a boss without spawning it. Well, a mini boss, not a big boss.
Interesting, that's really cool. I'm honestly just really surprised that the two games are so different. What is it about Oracle of Ages that allows it to have so many glitches while Seasons doesn't? Is it just kind of the layout of the game, or?
Exactly. Seasons has the ability to do text warps. There's just no place in the game where you can actually perform a text warp. So you can hack the game to get a certain item somewhere where you can text warp, but you have to hack the game to do that. You can't do it in the vanilla.
Really cool. That's honestly fascinating to me. I was expecting them to be so similar, but okay. I have one more question for you, and then we're going to move on to some of our social media questions. Mighty Myth, when is Oracle of Seasons and Ages 100%?
Well, the next time I have 10 free hours to sit down and do endless RNG manifs, I'll get back to you.
Great. That is exactly the answer I was hoping for. So now I'm going to move on to some of your social media questions. For a lot of these interviews that we do, we send out a tweet on the Games Done Quick Twitter account asking for your questions to give to the runners. We've picked out a few of them to ask to Mighty Myth. So our first question comes from Captain Skins. Mighty Myth, how easy is it to start running this game?
Fairly easy-ish. Like, there's a very in-depth, detailed guide about how to start running the game, and the Oracle's Discord has a fairly nice resources section. And after GDQ, there will be like a tournament that's coming up, so we'll have essence races to a full any % race to get people to start learning and getting used to the runs. So if anyone wants to learn, y'all should totally look into the Seasons any % tournament, because there will be 2 essence to full any % runs to get y'all used to running the game.
Is that tournament going to be on Speed Gaming, or?
Yes, it is. It will be on Speed Gaming.
Okay, cool. Yeah, be sure to check out the Speed Gaming channel then. They host a ton of really awesome speedrunning tournaments, and the tournaments are a great way to get into a game you might have been thinking about trying out. Okay, so our next question is from Coquito Ergo Samus, a great username if I do say so myself. Mighty Myth, what's your favorite season in real life?
Fall. Spring's too much pollen, summer's too hot. Winter I like sometimes, depending on how cold it decides to get down south.
Fall's pretty solid. I think my favorite season is Oracle of.
Oh.
Our next question is from Mega Master X, who asks, Mighty Myth, what's your least and most favorite aspect of this as a speed game?
My most favorite aspect of this is the fact that we can manipulate RNG. I think that is the neatest thing, and I love it. My least favorite aspect is the way that we can't actually do like frame perfect buffering. You can, but it's nearly impossible, and it makes this one trick at the end of the game just so much harder. It's less buffering and more me praying I press the start button at the right time.
Yeah, that sounds pretty tough, honestly, so best of luck on that one in your run. 2 more questions here. Our next one is from Subjunctivitis. Mighty Myth, what's your favorite music from the game, and why is it Dancing Dragon Dungeon?
I'm sorry, Subjunctivist. It is not Dancing Dragon Dungeon. It is, in fact, the music from Tarm Ruins. I love that area and the music. It's just so calming and neat, and I love it.
An interesting pick. You probably just made someone mad, but I mean...
Well,
hey,
Dancing Dragon Dungeon does have some of the best dungeon music, but...
I mean, you're the one who's running it, so you get to make these decisions about what music gets played at any given time. Not that that's probably what you're prioritizing when you route the speedrun, but...
Yeah.
All right, so my final question is from Xander TGE10, and I think this is the question that is on everyone's minds. Mighty Myth, who is the best animal, and why is it Dimitri?
Dimitri is the best animal, but he's also the slowest. I love all the animals equally, sort of. Ricky's annoying and hard to deal with, but the fastest. And Moosh is absolutely the cutest. So, yeah, that's my answer.
Well, there you have it. They're all good. So you should give money for all of them. And, you know, maybe if you manage to tie all 3, you can just do all 3 at once. That's how the game works, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. We'll just get all 3 flutes. It'll be good.
Perfect. Well, that's all the questions I have for you today. Thank you so much for coming out here, and best of luck with your run.
Oh, thank you very much.
Be sure to go to gamesdonequick.com to check out all the information about the event. You can see where to donate, what runs are coming up on the schedule. You can go to gamesdonequick.com/tracker to check out upcoming incentives, bid wars, and a lot of the really cool prizes that we have. There's some really neat prizes for the Zelda block, so you should definitely go take a look. Mighty Myth, best of luck on your run. Now I'm going to throw it back up to the front to Proto Magical Girl, who is going to read off some of your donations as we get ready for the Strider race with Enemy, Mr. Magnificent, and Ellipsis. Bye. Thank you so much for that wonderful interview, Proto Magical Girl and Mighty Myth. My name's Proto Magical Girl. I'm your host right now for this upcoming Strider race. We're almost ready for that. In the meantime, I'm going to read some more of your donations. There's $100 here from The Real OGs. Go Vince! Congrats on the amazing run. And an anonymous $100 donation. No better way to start the summer than to watch so many games get destroyed. Good luck to all the runners. Another $5 from Kim in the Attic. I forgot to greet Cena. So awesome you're there. Have a nice time, both of you. Here's $25 from Vix Entropy. Anyone can Strider, but not everyone can do it so eloquently. Or elegantly. Maybe eloquently, too. Good luck to all of the runners, but especially Ellipsis. Donations to Winner's Choice. $25 from Silver Moon 9000. I just wanted to wish the runners of Strider food luck. Great. Oh, and nice Sailor Moon tank, Proto Magical Girl. I have a shirt just like it. Thank you, Silver Moon. I got it on the Yeti. They have all sorts of cool shirts and are SGDQ's official merchandise sponsor, and you can buy really cool GDQ shirts from the advertising. Here's a $25 donation from Cerberus144. Hey guys, good luck to Enemy in the race, and shoutouts to speedrunners watching Wrestling Discord. This donation goes to Enemy's Choice because it will be glorious. I have a feeling that was a wrestling joke that I didn't get, so the crowd says it was. Great. And here's $50 from Miyaka Troy. Best of luck to Ellipsis on the Strider run from his old roomie. Remember, anyone can Strider. $10 from Papa Gator. Hello, all. Hi, Papa Gator. $25 from Alexander230. Yay, SGDQ time again. It makes my week every time. Thanks everybody for putting in the effort and organizing all of these great events. We've got $5 from Masking Tape Man, my favorite Mega Man 11 Robot Master. Love me some GDQ. Watching runners make quick work of games that tortured me as a kid is oddly gratifying. Keep up the great work, runners, and a huge thank you to all of the GDQ staff for putting their time in to make this great event happen. It's $15 from N4 Kai. I was looking forward to this week for months, and finally, it's here. I do not speedrun myself, but I'm overjoyed with the awesomeness of what I'm watching. Here's a little something from me. By the way, did I just hear about an additional Half-Life run? Yes, Envorkai. Yes, you did. We have a bonus Half-Life any % run as a donation incentive that is currently sitting at $10,000 out of the $50,000 we need to get there. So keep bringing those donations in. That bonus run is just a treat to watch. It's a ton of fun. Keep bringing in your money, and we have a lot of other good incentives, including the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bonus tracks incentive, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe character choice, the Super Mario World Fast Red Switch, and some really neat bid wars like pray to save or kill the Typhon and male or female character, and whether or not to bring Luigi in Paper Mario 64. Got $15 from Spartan MPCO. Remember Reach. $10 from Arthur the Last Ancient. Tarm Ruins music is the best. I totally agree. Here's 10 to an incentive of your choice, Mighty Myth, and good luck with the run. So I'm going to jump forward a bit on the schedule to talk about an incentive coming up on, I believe, Saturday. That is the Kirby's Adventure Upgrade to 100% Run incentive. Kirby's Adventure is a really cool speed game, and the 100% run allows the runner to show off a ton of really unique segments of the game that you don't get to see in any other category. So get your donations in for that. We currently need $20,000 to get there. Start bringing that money in. Also take a look at gamesdonequick.com/tracker to see all of the incentives coming up sooner and later for this marathon.